there, welcome. Today, we're going to tackle one of the most practical skills you can have, mastering the essential English you need to walk through any airport in the world like a total pro.
You know that feeling, right? We've all been there. You're staring at all the signs, trying to understand the announcements, staff are asking you questions. It can be a little overwhelming. That little knot of anxiety in your stomach when you're just trying to find your gate, totally normal. But we are going to change all that, starting right now. I want you to think of this as your own personal flight simulation. We're going to walk through every single step of the process together, from the moment you step into the airport to the second you walk out at your destination. All right, let's do this. Our journey begins now. You've just walked through those big automatic doors into the departure hall. So what's the very first thing you need to do? Well, before you can even think about kicking back on the plane, there are 3 main stops you've got to make. First up is the check-in desk. This is where you drop off your big suitcase and get your boarding pass. Then, once you're a bit later, you'll head over to the security check. And finally, after you get the all clear, it's time to find your departure gate. It's a simple path, and every single traveler follows it. So, at that check-in desk, they're going to hand you your boarding pass. Seriously, this little piece of paper is your golden ticket. It has everything you need to know right there on it, so whatever you do, don't lose it. Keep it somewhere safe, but, easy to grab until you're actually sitting down on the plane. You are going to see the word departure everywhere. And here's a great little language hack for you. It's part of a word family. Depart is the action, the verb, like the plane departs. Departure, on the other hand, is the thing, the noun, like the departure is at noon. Getting this one small difference down unlocks so much of the airport's language. It's a game changer.
Okay, next up, let's talk about the choices you'll be making, both when you're booking your flight and when you're at the airport. And we'll see how a tiny bit of grammar can make talking about those choices way, way easier.
The classic debate, window or aisle. Well, a window seat is definitely better if you want to lean against the wall to sleep or just, look at the cool views. But an aisle seat is better if you've got long legs and need to stretch, or if you want to get up without bothering anybody. See the word we keep using to compare them? That's right, better.
And this points to a really simple but super powerful grammar rule for comparing pretty much anything in English. For short words like fast, you just stick an on the end to make it faster. Easy. But for longer words like expensive, you put the word more in front of it, so you get more expensive.
Now, this is crucial, so listen up. You have to pick one rule or the other. You can never, ever use both together. Saying something like more faster is a really common mistake. But now you know the trick, right? You just say faster. It's one of those tiny little tweaks that makes your English sound so much more natural.
Let's try it one more time with flights, just to make sure it sticks. So flight A is cheaper. Cheap is a short word, so we just add ER. But maybe flight B is more convenient. Convenient is a longer word, so we have to use more. See how that works? Simple. Okay, you did it. You made it through check-in and security, you found your gate, and now you're settled in your seat. So let's talk about the words you're going to need while you're actually flying through the sky. Let's quickly run through 4 essential words for when you're on the plane. That storage space above your head for your bag, that's called the overhead bin. The friendly staff serving drinks and helping you out, they're the cabin crew. The moment the plane speeds down the runway and lifts into the air, that's takeoff. And that bump, when you touch back down on the ground, that's the landing. Now, here's a question that trips up a lot of English learners. You're on a plane, flying to a new place, but what do you call this experience? Is it a trip, a journey, or are you just traveling? They all sound so similar, but they actually mean slightly different things. And here's the breakdown. A journey is really just about getting from point A to point B. So the flight itself is a journey. The trip is the whole shebang. The flight there, your vacation or business, and the flight back home. And travel, that's just the general activity, the big idea of going places. A subtle difference, but super useful to know. So the plane has landed, you might hear a little applause, but hold on, you're not quite finished yet. There are still a few more important steps to take once you're inside the arrivals hall. Yep, you guessed it. Just like departing, arriving has its own 3-step process. First, you'll go through immigration or passport control, where an officer checks your documents. Next, it's off to baggage claim to go find your suitcases. And the final step is walking through customs, where they just make sure you aren't bringing anything illegal into the country. Let's zoom in on baggage claim for a sec.
You know that big room with all the moving belts? Well, that belt has a special name. It's a carousel. Here's a pro tip. Don't just stand there staring at the bags. Look up at the screens, find your flight number, and it will tell you exactly which carousel your luggage is going to show up on. Okay, here is another super useful grammar tip, and this one is a big one. The little word you use with arrive is very specific. You always arrive in a big place, like a country or a city, but you arrive at a specific building, like the airport or your hotel. And this brings us to a really common trap. So many people say arrive to. I get it, it's a direct translation from a lot of languages, but in English, we just never say it. So try to erase that from your brain. Instead, remember, you arrive at the airport, and then later you arrive in London. Got it? And of course, after that long journey, you might be feeling a little off. That tired, confused, out of sync feeling, it has a name. It's called jet lag. It's just your body's way of telling you it needs a minute to catch up to the brand new time zone. And just like that, you've done it. From the check-in desk all the way to baggage claim, you now have the words and the grammar to handle the entire airport experience. You've officially turned that anxiety into confidence. So the only question left is, where will your next journey take you?